You've heard me talk a lot about Misa Hoos, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you only named that house and none of the other houses.
Well, because usually I'm building a house for somebody else, right? I'm building May's house or Simon's house or whoever's house. But this house doesn't have a family yet. I'm building it, so someone needs to buy it.
Oh.
Yep, so that's different. I don't normally do that. Welcome to the Curious Builder Podcast. I'm Mark Williams, your host. Today I have a very special guest for a 20-minute Q&A. I have May Williams, my 9-year-old daughter. Hi, May.
Hi.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun that you can ask questions that a kid would have or anybody would have about owning a business or anything like that. So take it away. You are now the official host of this session of the Curious Builder.
Okay. What made you want to start a business?
That is a good question. So Grandpa and Grandma had a building company, and so did my uncles and my grandparents, and a lot of people around me own their own business. So I just thought that was normal, and because I never saw anyone else have any other job. And so when I was a little kid, when I was your age, 9, 10 years old, I used to go to the job site with Grandpa, and I would sweep the house. Well, my dad, Grandpa, your grandpa was, was, talking to the electricians and the plumbers, and I would make the house clean. So that was something that I could do. I could go around and Grandpa would pay me an hour. I don't even remember what it was, $4 or $5, $7. I have no idea. And I would go around and I would bring a garbage can, and I would pick up like 2x4s and scrap metal, and my cousin Jason would also help me sometimes, and Uncle Johnny would help me too. So in the summer times when we were off of school, we would go to the job sites. Sometimes we'd ride our bikes and we would just go and do whatever. I remember this one time we were not very good employees. We were, how I always like to make everything a game.
Yep, I can. Yep.
So Uncle Jason and I were up on the second floor of a house, and it was all, they call it like scrapping phase. So it's like sheetrock and 2x4s, and there was a dumpster out in the yard. And it was too boring for me to put it in a garbage can, haul it down the stairs, and then dump it. So can you guess what I was doing?
You dumped it on someone?
No, no, I started chucking it out the windows. So there's no windows in the house, right? There were just big holes because the windows hadn't been put in yet. So Jason and I would see if we could take a 2x4 and we would throw it outside the window, and it would fly through the air. And sometimes it would go in the dumpster. Sometimes it would go next to it. It was just all over the yard. So my uncle, your great uncle, Jeff, came back to bring us lunch, and the whole yard, he was so mad at us. The whole yard was just full of garbage, but the house was clean. So we had to go around and clean it. But to the original question is, I guess I always sort of had a little small business. I would always go to the job sites, I'd mow the yards. And then when I was old enough, I had my own little lawn mowing business. And so I would go mow all the neighbors' yards, and I made these little green cards that said professional lawnmower. And I think I had maybe 7 to 10 accounts, big yards, like 3-4 acres. Wow. So like 10 times bigger than our yard at home. So really big. And it would take me a couple of hours to mow it. And so that's what I would do all summer long. So I kind of had a small business in high school and in college. And then I worked 1 year in sales out of college. And then I thought, I don't really like working for somebody else. I kind of miss working for myself. Grandpa and Grandma had already retired. They stopped building. And so then I was like, maybe I'll start building a house. And I started building a house, and halfway through, I'm like, this is so much fun. I love it. So I sold my car and I bought a truck, because that's what you do if you're a builder, right?
Wait, were you the only one in your business at that time?
I was, yeah. It was just me. And so then I built the one house, and Grandpa gave me good advice, and Grandma helped me do some interior design, because I was only 23. So I was pretty young. So a little younger than Uncle Kyle. And so then after halfway through, I'm like, this is amazing. I went and got my building license, and then I decided to quit my job. And at that point, I hired, her name was Margaret Hansen. So that was Grandpa and Grandma's old office manager.
Okie dokie artichoke.
That's right. Okie dokie artichoke. She had always these funny little sayings, but she was really good with bookkeeping and paying bills and certificates of insurance and all the stuff you need to do to run a business. And that was really kind of the beginning.
Oh, okay. Thanks. No, thank you. Next question. All right. What do you do when you don't have a house in progress?
That is a good question. So Grandpa used to always say there's two ways you can either be busy being busy or busy getting busy. So basically, if you have no work, you really got to hustle. And it's not very comfortable because I don't, if I don't have a client or if I'm not building a house for somebody, that means we're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really stressful for any business owner or a dad because like you're a kid, like these are things you don't have to worry about, right? Like the house we live in or the food we have or the gas we put in our car. Those are all things that happen when you own a business. But so when I don't have a lot of homes, then I'm making a lot of phone calls, I'm doing a lot of marketing. And I think this, that not the secret because every business owner does this, but you always have to dedicate time to getting sales and getting leads. And, that always has to be part of your business. So sometimes what happens is you get really busy. So let's say you have, for me, we're a small company, but let's say we get like 3 or 4 really big homes, right? Now we spend so much time in those couple homes, and those homes might last for a year, year and a half. But if I focus only on those homes and then all of a sudden they're done, but I haven't spent any time in that last year and a half, getting new jobs, then when it's done, I've got nothing. And it takes about 6 months to a year to sort of get new work.
Oh.
And that would be a long time to not work, right? So you kind of always have to spend some of your time getting new leads and getting sales because it's called feeding the hopper. You got to make sure you always have new people you're talking to.
Yes. Do you ever like deal with the same client or are they always like different?
That's a good question. Building a custom home, just because it's really expensive, most people only do it once in their lifetime, maybe twice. And Minnesota is not a vacation spot. Like when we go to where Kyle lives down in Arizona, it's warm. So sometimes because Minnesota gets cold, right?
Yes.
And it seems like they call them snowbirds, like grandpa and grandma's age. Like sometimes people get tired of the cold. And then after they're done working and they're retired, they have a house here. But then in the wintertime, they snowbird. They go to Florida or they go somewhere else, like a second home.
Yes.
But because Minnesota, most people aren't leaving Arizona to come here in the summer or the winter. It's not a vacation destination.
Yes.
It's a great place to live and to raise a family. And I love being from Minnesota. But because of that, you don't get a lot of repeat business because it's usually just their primary home. But sometimes I've built homes for people when they had a young family like our family is. And then let's say because you're 9. So in 10 years, 11 years, when you graduate high school and you go to college or wherever you decide to do in your life and your brothers go, at some point they call it empty nesters. When mom and I don't have kids in the house anymore, kind of like I'm on a gong right now.
Yes.
Then our house might be too big. So then sometimes you build a smaller home and then you might build another home. But anyway, it's something that all custom home builders would like to do more of because we have a great relationship with someone we built for and we'd like to build again.
Yes. Okay. What's the easiest and hardest part about building?
Oh boy, we're going to need 5 podcasts that are 10 hours long to get all those questions.
Well, we can get through some of them, like the ones I really want to ask you.
Sure. All right. Well, the hardest part, I don't think there's one hardest thing or one greatest part. I just think.
Well, like, what's the easiest? Like, what's easy and what's hard? Like, is there anything that's difficult?
Yeah, there's lots of things that are difficult. You're right. Okay. I think there's a good way to reframe the question. I think the most difficult part is expectations with a client, right? It's a relationship. And so even when you have a good relationship, sometimes there's conflict. Like obviously I love mom, right?
Yes.
But sometimes we argue, right? And so yeah, client, you can have a great client, but sometimes the way you communicate, you need to work through communication. So having the ability to set expectations and make sure that you communicate a lot and kind of say, hey, this is what's happening this week. That's probably, when I say the hardest, that's probably the most important thing. Because can you imagine like if I didn't talk to you for, you can't imagine this, but if I didn't talk to you for like a whole month, like that would be kind of weird, right? What if I just ignored you? How would you feel?
The opposite of good, I guess.
Yeah.
But do you ever have like problems with your team members too?
I've been really lucky. We have really good team members. I've never really had an issue. Everyone, some days people have good days, sometimes people have bad days, and you just have to be patient with people, right? Like today, you heard him on the phone on the way driving in here, like Mike was
Yes.
sick, right? But that's
Yes.
not his choice. He just got sick. Like life happens. Sometimes people have their parents and they're not doing well, so they need to spend some time with their personal family. And as a small business, we really care about the people that we're with. And I've had people that that I've known for a long time where they call me and say, Mark, things are really difficult right now. Can you help me out? And so you try to help each other because it's like a family. So really, I mean, nothing really stands out. Like we've never had anyone steal from us, or we've never had anyone lie to us or anything like that. So we've been really lucky. This episode is brought to you by Olive & Vine Socials. If you're a builder, a designer, an architect looking to grow your brand without dancing on TikTok or spending your whole life on social media, listen up. Olive & Vine Social specializes in Pinterest marketing, blogging, and email strategy for luxury home brands. Did you know that Pinterest is second only behind Google in search power engine? We've been able to use it for the Curious Builder brand, and it's dramatically changed who we reach and how we reach them. They help you turn your beautiful work into strategic, SEO-driven content that drives real traffic and connects you with your ideal clients without burning you out. Ready to grow smarter and not harder? Visit oliveandvinesocials.com and tell them the Curious Builder sent you.
Lake Society Magazine is Minneapolis' premier target market boutique lifestyle and design publication. It embodies the unique lifestyles and design of the Minneapolis City Lakes neighborhoods. From Lake of the Isles to Lake Harriet, it showcases the best in local design projects by both premier builders, architects, and interior designers in this area. Lake Society Magazine has the look and feel of a national publication with glossy covers, high-end finishes. It's mailed directly to upper bracket single-family homeowners in the City Lakes area, and it's the perfect local coffee tabletop publication. Subscriptions can also be available through the website lakesocietymagazine.com. Additionally, publisher and founder Karen Steckel has over 27 years in the local magazine publishing industry and has a passion for high-end photography and quality graphics. Her commitment to quality, visual simplicity, and beauty are strongly reflected in her beautiful Lake Society magazine.
Okay. How long does it take for you to build a house? Like on average?
It depends. But I would say most of the homes are probably between 10 months and 12 months. So just around a year.
I see. What does it mean to own a business for you?
What does it mean to own a business? That's a great question. I think it means freedom. You asked me one time a couple of weeks ago, you said, who's your boss? And the truth is nobody's my boss, but everybody's my boss. And so if you own a business, it's true, you can do whatever you want. But if you do whatever you want all the time, then you're not really listening to other people, right? And so like if we're going to go out to eat, like there are certain places I like to eat, but I'll ask you like, hey, May, where do you and your brothers want to go eat, right? So it's really, again, a relationship. The part of that I love about it is the freedom to be creative, to explore, to try new things. I mean, you've heard me talk a lot about Misa Hoos, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you only named that house and like none of the other houses.
Well, because usually I'm building a house for somebody else, right? I'm building May's house or Simon's house or whoever's house. But this house doesn't have a family yet. I'm building it, so someone needs to buy it.
Oh.
Yep. So that's different. I don't normally do that. A lot of builders in the country, that's called spec home speculation. So you're speculating that somebody will build a home or a model home that someone could come buy. So I wanted to create a whole brand around it because you know how I like to run and be really healthy and things like that. So I thought it'd be fun to build a house around being really healthy. And so that's why I did it that way. And so anyway, going back to the original question, which is why do I like owning a business? It's freedom. You get to be creative. You get to kind of shape it. Doesn't always mean you make good choices, right? Like, if you could eat anything you want right now, you'd eat a lot of candy, right?
Chips. Yeah.
And nerds and clusters and all that stuff, right? But then it's up to us as parents to kind of help make sure you eat healthy, right? And so the reason that we do that is if you were left to only your own decisions, then you wouldn't always make the best ones, right? And so sometimes we meet people around us. So when I say freedom, we still have to listen to other people because we can't just do whatever we want all the time.
All right, one more question. Did you always want to be a builder or did you have like other thoughts?
I think, or you have to ask grandma and grandpa that answer to that question because I don't remember. I never was like, as a kid, I never had this moment where I was like, oh, I want to be a builder. In fact, I knew I didn't want to be a builder because I didn't want to be like grandpa and grandma. I wanted to do my own thing. So grandpa was a builder. My uncle Jeff was a builder. Mike and Holly, they built commercial buildings. So I didn't want to do what everyone else did. I wanted to do something different. And then when they retired, I felt like I was doing my own thing by myself. Even though I asked them for help and they were really good at giving me advice, I really wasn't doing it because of them. I was doing it for me. But when I was a little kid, like a lot of kids, I thought, being an engineer or being an astronaut or, all the kind of the cool, fun things. Do you have any thoughts on what you'd want to be when you get older?
Well, I mean, it changes every now and then. I guess, like, me and Simon always like playing music together on the piano or stuff like that. So I don't really know yet. There's not like you said, I don't really have like one that I really want to be. It's just they're all like, oh, do I want to be this or do I want to be that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's good. I think you just try a little bit of everything. Remember, grandma used to always say, broaden your horizons. Nope. She always told that to me. That's why I always have you guys try different foods and do different things just to try something new because you never know what you might like. And so you try a little bit of everything. And I think that's like work too. I think it's important to try a lot of different jobs to see what you might like or what you might not like. Yeah. Well, just to respect everybody's time, we'll end the Q&A session of today's podcast. Thanks for coming on, May.
Thank you for having me.
We've had the podcast now for 2.5 years, coming up on 3, and I get questions all the time through DMs on Instagram, emails, as well as to our account. Maybe we've had a guest on where a question has come up that really triggers an idea for you. If you didn't know, we have a one-to-one consulting session through the Curious Builder platform on our website, curiousbuilder.com or curiousbuilderpodcast.com. You can click on the one-to-one and schedule 1 hour of my time. And we will simply just sit down, have a virtual call, and we'll talk about any business idea that you want, marketing, branding, operations, really anything that helps you and helps your business. Maybe it's a guest that you want an introduction to. Maybe it's a guest we've had on and they brought up something about scaling or hiring and firing or anything that might resonate with you as a business owner that you want to expand and talk on. We'd be happy to do it. If you're interested in that, please reach out to us at thecuriousbuilderpodcast.com. Thanks for tuning in to the Curious Builder Podcast. If you like this episode, do us a favor, share it with 3 other business owners. The best way that we can spread what we're doing is by word of mouth, and with your help, we can continue to help other curious builders expand their business. Please share it with your friends, like and review online, and thanks again for tuning in.